I gave rookie Ben Simmons a 99 3-point shot, 99 mid-range, and all the Hall of Fame shooting badges to see how much differently his career could go. We're going to be restarting his career in the 2022 NBA draft class, and the Houston Rockets end up taking him first overall, and with all these 3-point shooting badges, he is sitting at a 93 overall. I also gave him high shot tendency, high mid-range shot tendency, and high 3-point shot tendency to make sure he's out there shooting the ball a lot with his newfound 3-point shooting and new badges. This Rockets roster looks kind of rough for year one, but hopefully this team can pick it up and continue to develop. Early on in the season, Simmons was already shooting the ball a lot. We were only a handful of games in, and we've already seen him make 22 threes. Jumping on to the end of the year, Simmons won Rookie of the Year, and his numbers looked really good. He shot almost 45% from 3, and more importantly, he took 534 3-pointers. Also, he made first team All-Rookie and was an All-Star in his rookie season. We also have the Ben Simmons from real life in this league as well, so that's just going to make things a little more interesting. And we ended up finishing off the season 32-50, a pretty rough year, but it was kind of surprising to see that the Minnesota Timberwolves won the championship. Now, when we go into player progression, we see improvement from Jalen Green, but unfortunately, we spent a lot of our cap space signing a regressing Jonas Valanciunas to the roster, which is going to limit our ability to improve. We also signed an older John Wall. But even though we made some bad decisions in the offseason, Ben Simmons made All-NBA second team, and he had another great year shooting the 3. Also, we were able to make our first playoff appearance in this season as well. So we saw a lot of improvements in just year 2 for Ben Simmons. We're up against the Memphis Grizzlies in this one, and in a close first game of the series, we end up winning 128-124. And Ben Simmons was big for us, dropping 29 points. Then the Grizzlies end up taking the next one, where Ben Simmons actually struggled quite a bit. Another tough loss for the team in Game 3, which puts us down 2-1, and Simmons had a solid game, it just wasn't enough. We're down 3-1 in the series, and we're trying to make that 3-1 comeback, but it just doesn't happen. We end up losing to the Memphis Grizzlies, but Simmons still was good in that final Game 6, so we have a lot to look forward to as a franchise, as the Pistons end up winning the NBA championship this season. Now, moving forward into the offseason, we see a huge jump from Jalen Green. Not much of a jump from Simmons at all. We saw a couple of his attributes go up, but his overall didn't go up at all. Now, going ahead and moving forward to the next season, we see Ben Simmons once again make All-NBA second team. His numbers look pretty similar, but he's up to a 95 overall. We're in the play-in tournament this season, and we aren't able to make it out. Ben Simmons had a tough game in this one. We need a little bit more from him in these big playoff and play-in games that we're trying to win. Now, jumping forward to player progression, Ben Simmons ends up going up to a 95, Jalen Green's a 91, but Valanciunas, we signed him to that bad deal, and we signed McCollum to a bad deal. But Simmons continues to be really good for us, making the All-NBA second team once again, and shooting the 3-ball really well with his newfound 3-point shooting abilities. We were in the NBA playoffs as a 6th seed. Finally, we didn't have to fight through the play-in. We're up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they take a commanding 3-1 lead against us. And now we go to a Game 6, and we actually come so close to forcing a Game 7, but it was just too little too late, and Simmons had a tough game, shooting 5 for 20 in the closeout game. Now, Rolando Cotton got drafted to our team with the 5th overall pick. Maybe he could be a big addition for us. We see Victor Wembanyama starting to explode onto the scene in 2027, winning the MVP, and Ben Simmons once again is able to make All-NBA. Another big season for him as he continues to perform well and put up big numbers. We just have yet to see that playoff success so far. This time we actually have a matchup against the other Ben Simmons. This should be a fun one, and we have a close game in this one. So jumping into it, Ben Simmons has the ball at the top of the key, and he fires a three-pointer. It doesn't end up going in, but it was cool to see him take one. Now our team makes a play to get an easy look around the rim, and then we have Ben Simmons driving down the paint, and he ends up getting a crazy poster dunk to put us up 3 points on the Kings. But they get a dunk right back, and we're only up one once again. Now we need a bucket, and Ben Simmons takes a step back mid-range that sinks right through, and we're up 3 points. And that pretty much seals the deal as they take a desperation shot. It doesn't go in. We win the game, and Simmons came up big for us in game 1, dropping 29 points. Then in game 2, the Kings end up getting us back, and as you can see, Simmons didn't play that great. Then we lose once again in game 3, but take game 4 behind a great performance by Ben Simmons. We just need more consistency here as we once again lose in game 5, and now we're down in the series. But with our season on the line, we've got a close one in game 6, and they end up getting an easy look around the rim for a 2-pointer to put them up 3 points. Now we need a bucket desperately, and Simmons delivers, going to the rim for a layup. Then we have to foul, and the other Ben Simmons is at the free throw line for Sacramento. He ends up making both of them. So we need a 3 to force overtime, and we get a look, we take it, it doesn't end up going in, but it's rebounded by Jalen Duren, kicked out to Whitmore, who misses the 3, but Duren gets another board out to Simmons for OT, and we miss that one as well. So we lose the game, even off the great offensive rebounding of Jalen Duren. Jaden Ivey drops 33 on us, and we're out of here. But the Kings actually make it to the NBA Finals, but they lose to the Knicks led by Xavier Booker. Our team didn't see any significant improvements, and around the trade deadline, I realized we don't have a chance to compete. So I decided to force a trade for Ben Simmons to get him to a new team. And I knew exactly where he was going, where the other Ben Simmons was, to the Chicago Bulls. So I made a trade happen, and now we're teaming up Ben Simmons with Ben Simmons and Victor Wembanyama. I took the S off the other Ben Simmons so that way we could tell the difference, and now we're moving on in the season on a great team that should be able to compete for a championship. We finish off the season with almost 60 wins, Wembanyama wins MVP, and we see Ben Simmons make All-NBA third team, and I feel like this was one of the best seasons of his career, if not the best season of his career. He needed a change of scenery after all these years of Houston struggling. We end up easily making it out of the first round against the Pistons. Then we're facing up against the Bucks. That's another easy win. And then we're up against the Pacers. We win that one easily, and Simmons wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Now we're up against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the NBA Finals, and they end up taking game 1, even though Simmons dropped 44. He came to play now that he's finally on the biggest stage in the finals. We're able to bounce back in game 2 and take a win to tie up the series at 1 apiece, even though Simmons was much worse in this one compared to game 1. Then we win in game 3 as well, and Simmons was solid, but Wembanyama led the way for us. We win in game 4, and now we have a commanding 3-1 lead in the series, but we're not going to be like the 2016 Warriors. We're going to take this one home, and we end up winning it in 5 games. Ben Simmons wins the finals MVP, and he has a good game to close out the series. That's where I'm going to end off the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.